Hello, greetings again, Ann Sieg with the 21 suggestions for success. Let's dive in, and today, suggestion number 8 is persistence, persistence, persistence. Is that a suggestion for success that you feel is legitimate? I most definitely do, because oftentimes we don't realize the best things in life and those desires that we want unless we remain very, very persistent. And those who give up at the quarter mile, the half mile, the three-quarter mile, and they just throw in the towel, they never experience that sense not only of reaching that particular goal and accomplishment, but furthermore, what they're made of, their wherewithal, that they were able to stick through a particular goal onto its completion. And I experienced this as I reflect back. It was in 2004 when I first came online, and I had the opportunity to go through a certification program, and it was very rigorous, very rigorous. Yes, sure, there was some training, but more importantly, we had to have in-the-field results, and that's why I really wanted to step forward with this program. It wasn't a lot of, go train, 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 and you get your award. Whoopee-doo, your certificate. That's, to me, on the order of, I don't want anyone to take offense here, but here we go. A college diploma. I mean, fine already. You've been schooled. You've been industrialized, the schooling that comes with industrialized education. Okay, I know that's a whole nother topic, but whoopee-doo. I want to see the real world stuff. I want to see down in the trenches. Now, granted, some schools incorporate those aspects, like student teaching as an example, where you're actually out in the field doing the deal. Anyways, that was, didn't mean to go off on that little rant there. But all to say, back to when I was going through that certification, I was able to find out what I was made of. And I will tell you, it had its ups and its downs, and some times of self-doubt and would I really be able to bring this thing into fruition. It was a tough go. And I remember I had this little magnet on my filing cabinet that I would look at. It was from the Apollo 13 mission, and it said, failure is not an option. And when I would see that magnet, it was this constant reminder, don't give up, Ann. And furthermore, I had my 3 boys watching me, and they were in their formative years, and I didn't want my boys to see me fail on something that I had set my mind to. So that was quite a trigger, or some pressure, if you will, external pressure that helped further propel me towards my goal. Is I've got to demonstrate the real deal to my boys and have them see success in motion, that their mom would stick with that task. Another story that comes to mind is I just finished Michael Masterson's book called Pledge. And in there he talked about his first mentor, and it was something to do about, the mentor said, I need you to get a return on, it was like a car engine or something that they had deemed had a fault in it, a failure, or whatever it was. And Michael Masterson went to that company over 100 times, because his boss kept telling him, no, you go back. You go back. No, you go back. I mean, most people can't handle that 2 times, let alone 10 or 15. But Michael Masterson did that 100 times, and it was early in his career. And so it cemented into his business psyche that you got to be persistent. You can't be wimpy and go, shucks, I knew that thing didn't work. A lot of times that's just looking for an excuse out, isn't it? I think a lot of you know what I'm talking about. And we can come up with them pretty quick because we know it's arduous. And so our nature is to go, you know what? We come up with an excuse for why it won't work instead of being persistent. Because this is, again, where you find out through your character what you're made of. So I would say it is definitely a very legitimate suggestion for success, because you exercise these muscles that take you on to increasing levels of personal development, increasing self-capabilities that just strengthen who you are. And if you don't do that, if you don't strengthen these different capabilities, you don't get to expand out into new areas to experience. Instead, you remain in this atrophied state of being very ineffectual because you're the type that throws in the towel a lot instead of remaining persistent, persistent, persistent. So, in my husband and I talking about this, he didn't feel like that was necessarily one of his strongest attributes. For me, oh, I'm really bullheaded about this. I'll relate one more story and then please do provide your comments. And again, there's no right or wrong answers here. But I remember when I fell in love with the sport of gymnastics, I mean, just became infatuated when I saw Nadia Comaneci and Olga Korbut, and I wanted a pull-up bar. And I just asked my dad, and I asked my dad, and then he put up a pull-up bar in our basement so I could start learning pull-ups and leg lifts and this whole thing. And I had to have my sister help me. She had to spot me until I could do my first pull-up on my own and my first leg lift on my own. And then I wanted a balance beam. So that's right. I persisted with my dad. He had a workshop, and Dad, I need a balance beam. I need a balance beam. And he made me the balance beam shaped exactly how they are with that curve and everything. And I was persistent. And it's a pretty significant part of my nature. I just like bristle up like a little bundled bear, and then I charge into that wall, and I love that. I love that. Now, am I persistent about everything? Absolutely not. It's when I really want something, like I want this thing, and I just rally together my mental forces, my mental energy to just lock in and zone in on I'm going to have that thing. And it's an accomplishment. It's not necessarily a thing as in a physical thing. It's more the nature of an accomplishment. There, I knew it. I knew I could do this. Yeah. And then I want to go on to the next one. I think people vary in that particular attribute. But I got to tell you, in business, this one is a must. You got to be dog-headed, stubborn, just grit the teeth, crunch down on that bone, and plow through that sucker. So anyways, go ahead and comment. I'd love to read through them. Thanks, and I'll see you in video 9 with suggestion number 9 for success. Talk soon.